Research by Green in 2024 informs us that birth timings play a crucial role within early talent identification. Whilst this may seem like an obvious conclusion, it is vital those working within talent development identification understand what is actually happening and why some players might appear more talented at a young age. One of the leading theories on this topic is the relative age effect. This is a phenomenon causing individuals born in the early stages of a school year to have a physiological and psychological advantage over those born in the latter months, according to Ben-Eli and Levental in 2021. Muller, Hildebrand and Rashner in 2017 analysed the influence of biological maturity on talent identification and found that older children were 3.5 times more likely to be selected for competitions than younger children. According to the relative age effect, this is because older athletes possess more desirable characteristics required to meet the physical demands of sport, such as strength, speed, and cardiovascular endurance, due to their physical maturation. Having a physical advantage at youth level can potentially lead children to neglect developing their skills and become over-reliant on their physical prowess. The lack of individual skills can be detrimental to the child's long-term engagement within the sport, as they will one day compete against bigger and stronger players, and without a diverse skill set, those players will struggle to compete in that environment. So what is the relative age effect? The relative age effect splits the academic year into 4 quartiles. The first quartile year refers to participants born between September and November. The second quartile year follows those born between and including the months of December and February. The third quartile year for individuals born between March and May, and June to August for the fourth quartile year. This theory proposes that those born in the first quartile year are significantly more likely to be selected for academies, clubs and competitions than those born in the latter years. It is essential that coaches and those working within the talent development field have at least some understanding of human growth and maturation. Malina et al. In 2019 provides a dive into 3 processes they believe characterize children between birth and adulthood. These are growth, maturation and development. Growth refers to the increase in body composition, size and proportions. Maturation describes the progress towards becoming fully biologically developed, including different systems such as skeletal, somatic, reproductive or neuroendocrine. Development is the refinement of cognitive, social, emotional, moral or motor behaviour expected of the culture the athlete is reared into. Social-cultural expectations of children in sport is further explored in Video 1, Social Factors. Data analysis of study by Lidor et al. In 2021 on senior athletes in Israel highlighted the relative age effect was significant in male sports, particularly basketball, football, handball and swimming. However, it was less significant in female sports. Whilst there have been fewer studies on the relative age effect in female sports, a study on Chinese female tennis players at the junior level noticed a higher percentage of birthdays in the first quartile year and second quartile year than those in the third and fourth. This suggests that the relative age effect is still present in both male and female sports. So what can be done to counter this? One idea to counter the influence of the relative age effect is something known as biobanding. The process of biobanding is becoming increasingly popular within youth sport, particularly in the field of English football, according to Tolson and Cumming in 2022. This idea involves the groupings of players based on their biological maturity rather than their chronological age. The purpose of this is to create an environment where both earlier and later maturing athletes can thrive, as players will no longer be able to rely on their physical presence, therefore encouraging them to develop their technical and tactical abilities and skills. Another potential benefit of biobanding is that players are less likely to have a negative first impression of the sport, as they will have a higher chance of achieving success as they are not at a physical disadvantage. There are numerous studies of biobanding in action which have indicated positive results. Cumming, Brown and Mitchell et al. In 2018 conducted an experiment with Premier League Academy players aged 11 to 14 who were all between 85% and 90% of their predicted growth heights. The results suggested that the majority of players had a positive experience and expressed favourable judgments towards biobanding. A second finding was that the early maturing players had to adapt their style of play to a faster pace, with more emphasis on tactics and techniques. This argues that by removing any physical disadvantages or advantages from the environment, it will lead to more skillful players emerging as they become more reliant on their individual capabilities. In conclusion, if more clubs and organisations were to adopt the biobanding training method, then it is likely we will see more skillful players emerging who have a better long-term engagement within the sport. It is also possible we will see a reduction in the number of participants dropping out of the sport, as they will no longer be put off by being at a physical disadvantage.